do you want to give any thoughts on who exactly? I mean, who is this cabal, this deep state, this dark state? Who do you think it is? I mean, I heard you say neoliberals and neocons, but that's kind of, I mean, aren't there like more concrete things behind the scenes? Would you say it's the City of London crowd, or do you think it's the military-industrial complex, or what do you think?
No, Paul, I have a different view of this, although in principle,
Hmm.
those who talk about these things, we are all in agreement in principle. But the devil is in the details, and I have my own structure of what
Your
is
own
happening.
details, okay?
So, first of all, let's begin with the City of London. London, and generally, some people believe that actually strings are being pulled from London. Actually, some other people think that they're being pulled from Israel. I can tell you that it's basically neither, although both Israel and the City of London, let's say, and the British Crown are participants in all that. I think they're basically partners. However, uh, I would say that the point man or the point state of what we should call the collective West, the Yang aggressive collective West, before World War II was the British Empire. However, the British Empire took a very big hit as a result of World War II, and it disintegrated basically gradually. But as a result of everything that was done, they lost a lot of their energy. So and they were bombed. There was a lot of problems as a result of World War II. So the headquarters of what we should call NWO or the globalism, in other words, that umbrella that wanted to take over the world using the Western model, applying Western model to the entire world. We called it NWO until recently. Now, some people refer to it as sort of deep state, but I will get back to that. So that headquarters migrated to the US, New York, and between New York and Washington, let's just say, maybe a little bit California as well. And then because the dollar became the global currency, et cetera, it grew, and grew into this big mushroom. That's where we are right now. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, as Gorbachev and Yeltsin were giving up everything, all everything from assets to people to know-how, and especially all kinds of natural resources, the West actually was able to proliferate and grow into this humongous mushroom, yang, aggressive kind of mushroom that threatens to absorb the entire world, even more so. And as I said before, Russia is the great balancer. Russia's job, and that's why it has such a wide territory to balance itself between East and West, between Europe and Asia. Russia's job is to balance the world, the human world, and generally keep the world spinning and in balance. If it becomes too yang, that's very bad, that's too aggressive. If it becomes too yin, which is the global south and the global east, then it becomes too sluggish. Then it doesn't develop anymore. We need a balance of both so that there is a push for the future, which ideally the nice, good West is supposed to provide. Okay. Whereas there is also stability and nurturing, which is the yin side of the world is supposed to provide. So Russia, the great balancer, is the only global power that is fully yin-yang. It is fully balanced between yin and yang. Unfortunately, Russia became severely imbalanced too as a result of the collapse of the Soviet Union. And the collapse of the Soviet Union was partially internal problems, and in big part, it was orchestrated from the West. So we have this situation where US becomes this single global superpower, and the headquarters of NWO and globalist movement facilitated by the West. And now all this is disintegrating. So we have remnants of NWO and globalism. And in my view, this is what should be called deep state. I actually like dark state better. That's my term for it. Deep state is Eisenhower's term, and he was referring primarily to the hidden forces that were pulling the strings in the US and were not letting him do his job at his time. And it was military-industrial complex, different interests that were in the shadows, but it was big capital, it was financial circles, bankers, but at his time, it was also military-industrial complex in the biggest part. Now we have financial capital. We have what is on the surface. Again, what we call today neoliberals, neocons. These are visible forces. They're of course invisible forces to the naked eye. They're hiding really well, and they're usually in the finance world, like Rothschilds, Rockefellers, that sort of thing. Also, Europe. The traditional politicians of Europe, such as Merkel and Macron and Theresa May and the British Crown, those are participants in that. Heads of state and politicians in countries of the Anglo-American spectrum, such as Canada, Australia, they're very much into that. They're in it full force. But there are also politicians, due to the fact that they received education in the US primarily, some in the UK, that are in Eastern Europe, that are also in this. Well, we have politicians like that in Lithuania, Latvia, and Estonia, in Poland, in many countries of the Balkans, in Bulgaria, in Slovakia, partially in Czechia, not all of them, in Hungary to a degree as well. Soros influence is very big there, and Soros is a big part of this, again, what is called deep state, and I call it dark state. So these are the remnants of NWO that are trying to save themselves. That's my definition and my vision of how it works.